draw. I love the tune that fills the air. I love to smell your hair again. I love to watch the horizon. I love to come back when I'm gone. I love the taste of one night down. I love your bare feet on the lawn.
Kate, you volunteered to get on this train because you know you're doing nothing in Phoenix. Okay, you're just sweeping up a mess. In 6 months, every single house you raid will be rigged with explosives. Do you want to find the guys responsible, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
This is where we start.
Qu'est-ce qui vous a décidé à faire ce film, Denis Villeneuve? Qu'est-ce qui vous a plu? Parce qu'il y a de l'action, il y a une tension émotionnelle très forte, très bien incarnée par vos interprètes, et puis il y a aussi des problèmes moraux qui sont posés par ce film. Comment lutter face au mal? On lutte au mal par le mal, mais qu'est-ce que ça engendre? Ce sont toutes les questions que vous vous posiez.
Au départ, ce qui m'a poussé ce qui m'a ému dans le scénario, c'est que le film, ce texte décrivait une réalité, à savoir s'inscrivait dans une réalité qui est en général soumis à un certain silence. En Amérique, il y a des certains problèmes comme ça qui sont peu couverts par la presse, une violence assez intense qui sévit au nord du Mexique. Et c'est quelque chose que je trouvais qui était important d'aborder avec le cinéma. Voilà.
Josh Brolin, on a l'impression qu'à un moment donné, les Américains sont prêts à tout et à tout accepter pour lutter contre le trafic de drogue. Ça fait penser aussi à la problématique de la torture. Est-ce que ce film embrase aussi toutes ces problématiques? Faut-il torturer des gens pour le bien, pour protéger l'Amérique? Ce film pose des tas de questions comme ça. Qu'en pensez-vous, Josh Brolin?
I think that's what it does. Is it poses a lot of questions. I don't think it poses any answers because I think that's the major problem in itself.
Ouais.
Is that there is the problem that exists that a lot of people are denying or a lot of people don't know about, and they don't know that it's coming. It's hopping the border. It's coming from Mexico into the United States, and not a lot of people know that. But yeah, I mean, there's Narco Cultura. There's a lot of documentaries being done right now on the problem, but no scripted films. So I think this is the only scripted film that I know that gets into it, and it poses, huge questions about the future of the United States because of Mexico and what's happening.
Comment vous êtes imprégnés? Comment ils se sont imprégnés chacun de leur rôle? Ils ont rencontré ces gens qui luttent justement contre les cartels. Ils ont rencontré des policiers, des gens qui les ont renseignés. Comment ça s'est passé? Tout était dans le script.
It was like the script was pretty.
Vous pouvez parler en français, Denis. C'est agréable pour nous.
Taylor Sheridan, le scénariste, avait fait un travail de recherche assez remarquable.
The screenwriter, had done wonderful work. I know that Emily also did some research for her role. Gentlemen, did you do any research?
Josh, c'était une démarche personnelle avec moi.
Had a personal approach with me.
C'est vraiment les personnages, sincèrement, les personnages étaient très bien décrits dans le scénario.
Are really well described in the screenplay. I think Emily did some research work with the FBI agency. Emily, how did you prepare your role?
Qu'est-ce que vous avez découvert avant ce tournage?
I had a friend who had a connection with the FBI, and so I spoke to about 3 or 4 FBI agents, women. And that was really informative, and it was really exciting talking to them and sort of understanding this girl more. And because really the film takes place over 3 days, and so I just wanted to know what the life was before that. What is life like as a female cop, and how does it affect your family? How does it affect your sleep? How does it affect marriages? How does it affect all of that? And what do you prep? What do you do before you do a SWAT team assault? All of that stuff was really. And they were so open and giving, and it was interesting hearing about the sexism that goes on in the police force and how they kind of combat that.
On a l'impression que c'est un peu comme dans le cinéma, tout le monde est un peu divorcé dans ces métiers-là. Ça donne un peu cette impression. Oui, non, Benicio.
Benicio, do you want to come back on that?
C'était pas la question.
No, I'm not wanting to know about your marriage.
C'était plus sûr en même temps, Benicio, c'est vrai. C'est la meilleure solution.
That's the best solution, of course, not to be married.
Je me souviens que quand vous étiez là aux côtés d'Arnaud Desplechin, ils avaient été surpris par la manière dont vous travaillez le script, dont vous mettez des annotations. Est-ce que là, vous avez travaillé encore de la même façon? Vous avez fait des recherches,
on the script the whole time. You were researching, underlining, highlighting, working really in detail with the script.
That's how you become an actor. You underline, you highlight, and then it happens. No, I've done many movies in this topic that have to do with this topic one way or the other. Either I'm the guy doing the drugs, selling the drugs, or killing for the drugs. So.
Ben oui.
Yes, so that's part of the research. But and through that, I've had the opportunity to work with, to meet and befriend DEA, people that are really in the front lines on it, and ex-LAPD officers. So my preparation was already kind of covered for this film in a way. More so was more about the story, the work done with Denis and the work done with the actors. That was more like the stuff we needed to work on.
This film, in a way, supports the idea that the means justify the end. So I would like, from the actors and the director, to comment on that, and if possibly can say if this idea, this time and age, is kind of a necessity.
I think, from my humble point of view, that the movie is asking questions about what you just said. I don't think that the movie gave any answers. I think that it's true that we are living in a period of time where gray zones are more blurred than ever. And but it's a movie. That's why I was so attracted to this project, because it was raising strong, accurate questions without giving any answers. That's the way I see it personally.
This question for Emily Blunt. This role that you've done is a brilliant role for women in a festival that has been very good at celebrating women, female directors. There's a report in one of the papers this morning about women being not allowed entry to one of the premieres because they were wearing flat shoes and not high heels. Is that something that we should have in 2015?
No. I think everyone should wear flats, to be honest, at the best of time. I don't think we shouldn't wear high heels anyway, but that's just my point of view. I just prefer wearing Converse sneakers. But yeah, that's very disappointing, obviously. It's very disappointing. You kind of think that there's these new waves of equality and, waves of people realizing that women are just as kind of fascinating and interesting to watch and bankable. And it was interesting with this film. I think you got asked early on if you'd rewrite my part for a guy.
In fact, the truth that, not me, but the screenwriter, several times he had to, through the years, because the screenplay was written a few years ago. And it was a screenplay that was people were afraid of, in part because the lead was a female character. And I know that the screenwriter was asked several times to rewrite the part. Me, when I got on board, I embraced the screenplay as it was. And it was the same from Black Label and Thunder Road and Lionsgate. They embraced the script as it was, but the pressure come before those guys had the guts to. I can't say that. It's crazy that I'm saying that right now. Had the guts. It's crazy, but it's we embraced the screenplay as it was.
To follow up on this question,
and I must say about what that thing that happened in a sign of protest. Benicio, Josh, and I will walk the stairs in high heels tonight. So,
I'd like to see that. My question is for Emily. I wanted to ask you about the experience of shooting surrounded by guys. Your character doesn't talk to another woman the entire movie, it seems, and so I wanted to know what that was like.
I had this guy, so it's all right. In his high heels, so I was always all right.
You did.
And I also wanted to ask Josh and Benicio what it was like having the gang from No Country for Old Men back together.
Excuse me. I'm not in that gang. All right. So
That was Javier.
It's a different haircut.
It's a compliment. Thank you.
That's how much he hides in his roles.
Yeah. What was your question? What was it like being with the dudes all the time? It's something that I've become quite used to because I think that happens quite a lot in films, that there aren't a ton of chicks around always on one movie. But it was great. I've known Benicio for 8 years or something. We did a film together ages ago, and Josh I knew socially, and so for me it really was a pleasure to work with them and be around them. And I remember for such a dark film, it was a very, very happy set, you know, giggly, funny set to be on. So
we shot in harsh conditions, and I wasn't a director. I was in a kindergarten. You know, it was like those guys together. It's like Roger said, "Can they keep quiet for Christ's sake?"
Kindergarten.
I was very fortunate because I was working a lot in one job after the other, and I got lost in the work, and I was asked to do this film by Denis, and I said no, and stupidly. And luckily, Roger, I've done quite a few movies with, and Emily I knew socially, and they came and made me feel appropriately stupid for turning down the role. And thank God, because it's just one of those things that you don't know. When you read a script that's very good, but you don't, you know, I knew Denis' films and Incendie, which I thought was so incredible. But you never know, and you get caught up in your own life, in your own bubble. And this was one of those films that, you know, we kind of powered through, and the writing was wonderful, and we're kind of reworking scenes as we're doing it on set, as these guys were talking about before. But I tell you, when we sat in that small screen and that small screening room and watched the film for the first time, it doesn't happen that way. Usually when you're not sure about a film, it usually turns out very bad. And we watched this film, and we were so proud to be involved in something like this. It's incredible, and like what he was saying earlier, is it brings up questions. It's a hypothetical. It's almost like doing this film was like being in the war room. If this were the case, could this be a possible solution? Could that be a possible solution? Could that be a possible? And we were doing that on set all the time. So a great, wonderful man to work with because the movie turned out good. If it didn't, I wouldn't say that.
Benicio.
You don't have the choice, man. You must say something nice. Okay. At least.
Yeah. Well, no, we met, and pretty much what Josh said, but we met, and he was very clear, transmitting his enthusiasm and his quest for truth, and so that was a motivator. Also, you know, the script had all this potential, and like Denis has said, he worked with all the actors. He was willing to listen to the concerns of the actors, and it made it really pleasurable to try to impress them. You know, to try to impress them. Yeah.
I'm very excited to see the film tonight.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yes, I'm a
director.
fan. Yes.
Beautiful movies have been presented, and to be here is always a pleasure for any professional.
All that finished good is all good, you know what I mean? No, it was great to work with, collaborated with him and with all the actors. It was
very, very understanding.
Merci.
Well, it was sort of exciting playing somebody who, you know, is that nuanced and that, and trying to suppress everything and trying to maintain face. You know, so Denis was really amazing, actually, about encouraging me to show very little, you know, the whole movie, and she's put through the ringer for sure.
Question to finish. First participation in the competition in Cannes. How are you feeling? It's a massive honor. It's a wonderful privilege. I was very nervous for this morning, but now it's a celebration. The film is welcomed well.
I'm just enjoying the night.